it's been a little bit since we had a game like we had this past Tuesday. It was a great atmosphere in Chrysler, and a great win for our guys and for us to beat a really, really talented and well-coached Maryland team. So things don't change much going to Iowa for Sunday's game. And it's going to, as anybody who watched the game last night, see this team is really has a lot of weapons. You guys that figure out numbers and things like that, I was trying to go through my head how many seniors we've had in the last 4 years that actually played, and they have 4 seniors that are starting and a junior. So they've been through, they built the program over that time, and it's just a tremendous basketball team right now. You just go all over college basketball. Where are there 4 seniors that have all been starting for years, have been playing for years, have earned that? And then Jock last night was tremendous. So really got a challenge. We have not played well in Iowa the last couple of years, whether we had a Final 2 team or a Big Ten championship team. We had a couple wins early in my tenure here, but those games haven't been close lately. So we got a big challenge in front of us, and we're looking forward to practice the next 2 days and get ready for it. Karras will go through a series of tests today, again, to see where he is. And if he tests with no pain, he'll begin the process of practicing. If he does not test, if he tests with pain, he'll be just doing some things that will help his healing. So let's go. Questions?
Coach, with Iowa's size, with 2 guys, I think a 7-footer and another guy who's 6'10", do you feel like you're game planning for Purdue again with just that much size?
Very different, very different team than Purdue as far as Woodbury, well, not a perimeter player, really good passer, and really sees the floor, and not necessarily a shot blocker. Utah is really a small forward, if that's what you're referring to at 6'10". Really a small forward, he can play anything. So this is a guy again that you see the effect. He went to Wisconsin, he's transferred. You see the effect on everybody. Wisconsin, everybody. He is really a talented player who practiced 2 years before he ever got on the court, and that's led to this great experience and really a wonderful player. Great for our league.
Brendan?
Fran said last night and today actually that with the experience that they have, one of the big things he sees is that game to game in the Big Ten, kind of understanding what an 18-game schedule looks and feels like, not too high, not too low, all that. How would you characterize your guys in that regard?
Well, I think that I'm trying to think of the really good, and Tim and Trey really got to that point, and I think Nick was getting to that point as well. So it is, I would say we're somewhere in the middle of that. We have played a challenging schedule to begin with, and now playing this 3rd really good team in a row. All the teams are good, but this 3rd really good team in a row, I think our guys understand that fame is very fleeting, and so are defeats. You just got to keep moving on.
John, there's a kind of a lot of layers, I guess, going into this matchup. Do you feel? I know that you say it's 1 game at a time, and you look back. Well, given the win over Maryland, given what Iowa did to Michigan State last night, do you feel like this is a game where you guys can really peg yourself, within the order, at least a little bit early?
Yeah, obviously. Who's going to go into Iowa and win this year? And that's going to be a very difficult challenge for everyone. So any team that can do that, whether it's us or someone else, has a great opportunity to contend for a championship. So that's what we're trying to do. We have them twice this year. As you've heard me say before, this is what's great about the Big Ten, is you have a chance to build a resume every day. You're not waiting for 4 days in March. You can do it every day. So we're going to seize this opportunity to go and play a terrific team as we're really rolling and do the best that we can.
Has there been a theme, like a common theme of why you haven't played well there that you can see when you watch film of old games?
They've been an NCAA tournament team all but maybe one of those years, and so they are they're a good team, and I think we've had some early. I think one time we had a really early start time, and maybe we weren't good enough because I don't know, but they've been better than us on their court. That's it. And they've had a talented basketball team all these times. When you go back to Aaron White and Marble and these guys, they were really good. So they weren't quite as good as they were rebuilding that program. They weren't quite as good in those first few years. Had a great win over there when George Morgan made the big foul shots with Darius Morris. Tim Hardaway was absolutely on fire. That was in my 4th year. But that's the last time. It was 4 years ago, 5 years ago.
And then about Karras, I don't know if you can answer this or not, but have doctors said that once he is pain-free, that it's not likely that he'll have pain after that he'll be healed and okay?
Well, we don't know that, but
Okay.
that's the plan. Once he's pain-free, then pain is his guide going forward. We just want to be pain-free forever after he goes through all his therapy.
Mark?
John, when you look at kind of how the other game went, everything obviously went right, it seems like, you know,
Mhm.
at all positions.
Talk about the Maryland.
Yeah, the Maryland game. Especially the shooting, you guys have shot so well here, and on the road it hasn't been as, I mean, is that just as simple as comfortability with the
You
rim?
know,
or what?
well, you know, we've only played the two road games that we have not shot well at SMU, and that was a lot to do with their defense, and then we did not shoot well, obviously, as well at Purdue, but, you know, at Illinois, we shot well. I don't think it's a road shooting thing. I think that you're home, everybody's gonna shoot a little bit better at home, but I don't think there's this void. You do have different baskets, you have a different ball, you have different environments, but hopefully that doesn't affect us.
The other thing, also Aubrey, trying to work him in more, is that something that, is it
Yeah.
just Duncan being in his path? or-
Especially, yeah, Duncan was so hot the other day, but especially under these circumstances where, you know, I think you'd see Zach maybe move to a 2 guard so we get Aubrey on the floor and keep Duncan where he is on the right side, but get Aubrey on the left side. So, because he continues to evolve, a little hesitation off one play we ran the other day and got right to the basket. That was a huge basket for us. I don't think we've ever seen him hesitate and go like he did on that one. So, something we teach, and now he applied it, that's a good sign.
Right back over here with John.
Coach, has Zach Irwin gained anything back on his vertical? Is he moving more like you would expect him to?
I think as you're a basketball player, you go through the season, the best training for being a basketball athlete is playing basketball. And so as he practices every day, he's using those muscles again that were so shut down for so long. So, yeah, like I said, I don't think it's next year to get him to that lengths, getting to the vertical that he was, and his quickness where it was, because the intense training that you do in the summer is gonna expedite that. But right now, we can't. Now it's about keeping him fresh.
After Tuesday, Derek is leading the team in rebounds for 6'1" guard. How much of an emphasis is that for him? Is that discussed that, you know, none of the bigs are playing as many minutes as they could to take the lead, but
Yeah,
they can do that.
if you add the bigs minutes up, it's a good number, not a great number, but it's okay. But again, we're sending him to the backboard, relying that we're just gonna get good solid blockouts from our other guys. As our big men get better hands and get cleaner rebounds, and so they can throw longer outlets, we can do things. But right now, the best outlet we have is one of our guards to get the basketball and go. So, but he's got an uncanny ability to jump off 2 feet in a crowd and get a rebound. I don't care how big the other guy is. For a guy, like I said, he could dunk rebounds, but he's never in that situation. But his vertical is incredible off 2 feet, and his hands are great in those situations as well.
And in terms of Mo, fewer minutes lately, is that not practicing well, or is that more just as teams get bigger and more physical in terms of?
No, it's about Mark Donnell. Mark's really been playing well and doing some really good things, and Mo's making progress all the time. There's been, you know, as we go in, he gets exposed in some areas that we're working on in practice that he needs to pay more attention to. But overall, he'll probably get in every game going forward. It was just one of those games where some of the things he does well weren't necessarily what we needed in that game. And they really had a great plan, and Diamond Stone they were going inside and going inside and going inside. And right now, that's an area Mo's really working at, post defense.
Simon?
Coach, you mentioned on the radio yesterday yelling at Duncan when he's not shooting
Yeah.
instead of the other way around. Is that something where he's had to adjust to? You still see him maybe hesitating on shots he should be taking?
In
sometimes?
practice, he does it. In practice, he doesn't hesitate as much in games, Simon. He does not. He's really good at getting to games. But I want this thing to be always there. You got a green light in practice. I mean, the other day he had a shot. Now he was within 15 feet, and he drove it in and turned it over. And that was not a good moment in practice for me. What are we doing? We got the green light. You couldn't have a greener light. and got after him pretty good. But then I don't see him doing that in games. You know, he did take that one bad shot against Purdue. That was the only one I can recall right now, that I don't think is gonna go in.
John, you mentioned Jack earlier, long scorer, they get 23 last night. And then they're also pretty physical up front, maybe not the most athletic guys around, but very strong. Does Iowa, is this maybe one of the more difficult teams to match up with, do you think?
Well, last year, that was, you know, it was an even game, and they went zone on us, and the game was over. I mean, they exposed some things that we were still growing in, and their length is really, their length in their three-quarter court press bothers people. Their length in their man-to-man. Their shot blocking ability is not, they're not physical, as physical as some teams, but you'd be surprised. But their length, they're leading the league in block shots. They're really good. They, you know, they don't have overall great quickness, but don't be misled. They're pretty athletic. They play above the rim more than most teams in our league.
Brendan? To build off of that, you know, they've gotten teams really out of sorts defensively, Purdue and last night, obviously.
Yeah.
When they do those varying things, what's your answer now to that, especially, you know, with the possibility of Karras not being out there?
Yeah.
You're one of your best ball handlers. How do you approach that?
You talk about the changing defenses.
That
You know,
Iowa
here's
does.
what they're gonna do. After every foul shot, they're gonna give you a 1-2, 1-1, 1-2-2 press. Try to take time off the clock, and if you do what Purdue fits where they trapped a little bit at half court. When they're up in a game late, they're even gonna do it after baskets. They'll go 1-2-2, just trying to, that's what they did with Michigan State last night, try to shorten the game. So the answer is, get the ball as quick as you can without turning it over, and then you can't have these 5-second delays of what are we in, what are they in. So we'll do a great deal of that the next stage. We just call it recognition. I mean, man, they're in zone. How do you get into your offense and you're not getting into it in 15 seconds? Because that's where I think it's affected everybody, is that people look at the clock and there's what we used to go into shot clock play. Sometimes you just started running the first 2 passes of your play.
In those instances, who are you most confident with the ball in half court? If you have that kind of outlet at the half court?
I'm really confident of all. Probably don't want to throw it too much to our big men and have them making decisions in half court. But all the other guys really confident. You know, when you're playing as small as we are, you have 4 guards out there. Anybody that could get the ball either in the middle of the wing and make plays. That's the way you can beat a 1-2-2 zone. This is why nobody presses anymore, like back in the John Wooden days when everybody ran a 2-2-1 and you got a corner. You're going to get a corner 3. You can see Duncan both against Penn State and the other night. You just throw it over the top, and all of a sudden, for the first time the whole game, nobody's guarding him. He didn't make the shot, but you can get good shots against a press if you attack it. And you might not get to the rim. Woodbury will stand right at the rim, but you can get as good a shot you're going to get if you pull it back out. We got to understand that sweet spot.
Chris?
Missing the front of 3-on-1-on-1s,
Yeah.
is that just kind of flukish, you think?
No, I think we haven't been in that situation as much as we'd like to. You remember, most of our wins were blowouts, or in the losses, we weren't in the game at the last. I think North Carolina State, we went to the rim and went 8 in a row. Karras LeVert went 8 in a row or 6 in a row, won the North Carolina State game. Nobody else has had to do that. And so now doing that is gonna be big for us. And it's a point of emphasis today in practice. It was the other day as well. We shot a lot of volume of them. Now, if you think of the guys that have been there over the past year, right? Spike was there, and Zach was there a little bit last year, but it's been basically Karras, Derek. We gotta get good in that area, because that's how you're gonna preserve wins.